lifelong dream of being a practicing physician, she reinvented herself and went on to become a national public figure, professional speaker, and entrepreneur, owner of her own healthcare consulting business. She has been the catalyst for transformation in the space of cultural and workplace diversity for a myriad of organizations for more than 2 decades. She recently launched her new show, The Live Today Show. Live Today Show, sorry, on Can TV and Channel 21. The show is designed to increase exposure to her nonprofit organization and provide valuable education and resources to individuals living with lymphedema. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you so much for coming out today. I am so blessed to have Tracy in my life. I met her when I first moved here to Florida about 5 years ago now. And at that time, I did not have my own nonprofit. But I am a 12-year breast cancer survivor this coming October. We can clap for that because God has been good. But when I met her, I was just enthralled by her energy. And I was a survivor at the time, so I just wanted to be a blessing to her. And when I started my own nonprofit, I made a vow to myself that my nonprofit would never operate in a silo. It makes no sense why one organization should have to take on the brunt of any event that is bringing awareness to the community, that is bringing education, and that's bringing resources. Because there are too many people dying every single day. I mean, when we're here in just this short period of time, there will be in an hour period of time, we go 8 minutes into an hour, do you know how many people will have died from breast cancer while we're sitting here with the activities of our limbs, gaining information, gaining valuable resources, and people are out there dying. And so events like this, no matter whether or not we have a room full of 1,500 or a room full of 65, they are important. Because if we save one life today, if we make it possible that one individual has decreased morbidity, they can feel good, they can walk out with their prosthesis, they can walk with their compression garments, and they can feel in some way whole again, this was all worth it. Now, as I was introduced, I'm Dr. Sheri. I wanted to be a physician ever since I was 2 years old. That's all I've ever wanted to be. I spent my life working, garnering, studying to be that. I was that. I was a successful physician. 2 beautiful children, not so beautiful marriage, but 2 beautiful children. I was doing my thing, right? Until October 1st, 2008, that's when everything changed. I found a mass in my right breast and it was cancer. Now, we had planned a lumpectomy. Depending on what that found, we'll figure out stuff later. But when you know it's not, we just gonna do a little lumpectomy and we figure out whatever. You know your body. The moment that I felt the mass, I had a normal baseline mammogram that February. October 1st, when I was doing my self-breast exam, that's when I found the mass. I knew it was cancer from the first moment I met it, from the first time I touched it. Now, those of you that may not know me, you may not be able to appreciate, I am not a pessimistic person. So it wasn't that I did this and I'm self-damning myself saying, oh God, I got cancer. I just know my body. And so I was blessed that I personally knew a breast surgeon because I had walked individuals, other healthcare individuals, nurses, physicians, just 2 years prior, walking them through their breast cancer journey. I was the person that they took to all of their exams, all of their appointments with their doctors, to the breast surgeon, to the plastic surgeon, to their oncologist. I was the one that was with them, holding their hand through this journey. And when I finally let go of the last one in April of 2008, I was diagnosed October of 2008. So it was a blessing in the sense that I knew all my resources, right? Because I was going to all of the appointments with them. So I got a chance to pick the top-notch doctors. And fortunately, I had their home phone numbers. So I called my breast surgeon. I said, look, I found a mass. What are we going to do? And so what planned to be a lumpectomy, because mine was growing directly back towards my lung, turned into a partial mastectomy. I underwent 15 rounds of chemotherapy and 33 treatments of radiation. I only missed 3 days worth of work. From Wednesday when I had my surgery, Friday when I was discharged, by Monday I was back at work. Now, most people never even knew that I had been diagnosed because I just kept it moving. I went on ahead and threw my hair in some cornrows, threw on my wig. Baby, they thought I had cut my hair. I was blonde one day, redhead the next day. I was doing it, right? So I'm going through chemo, driving myself to chemo. No one even knew. They just thought I was being sassy with my wigs. But it wasn't until after I'm done with chemo, after I'm done with radiation, I strip off the wig, hair is coming back, you know, that nice little wavy little thing, and everybody's telling me I'm looking all sexy with my new haircut. And they thought it was a new haircut, and then I laid it on them. I said, well, this is a cut thanks to chemo. They're like, wait, what? Yeah, chemo. I'm a breast cancer survivor. And so when I told individuals that I was a survivor, some individuals thought that I did not tell them because I was keeping it a secret. I wasn't keeping it a secret. I was just trying to keep it moving. I was recently separated from my ex-husband. I had 2 young daughters. My mom was in the end stages of her life. She had sarcoidosis. I'm trying to manage her. I'm the only physician on both sides of the family. Even though I'm the baby of the family, all of a sudden, I become the matriarch. I'm just trying to keep it moving. My mom died while I was going through chemo, just trying to keep it moving. I finally get through radiation, just trying to keep it moving. And then a year later, lymphedema set in. From the level 1 lymph node dissection, removed 16, 3 were positive, the radiation, surgery, the cancer itself, I ended up with lymphedema. Swelling so severe, my right arm, hand, and fingers, I could not perform the clinical functions of my job. How many of you know that I freaked out? Freaked out. This was something I wanted ever since I was 2 years old. And now I can't do it. I can't do it, and I can't understand how my body is betraying me like this. I have been through surgery and chemo and radiation. I've buried a mom. I've divorced a husband. I'm raising 2 children. Now lymphedema is going to strip me of my lifelong dream. My God, what is going on? And then my boss at the time, who wasn't a physician, said to me, now keep in mind now, I'm the director of the Disability Council because I'm board certified in occupational and environmental medicine. Disability, ADA, is part of what I do. I'm the director. I know how this works. We should be talking about accommodations. I can do the administrative side. We can bring someone else in to do the clinical side. Okay, so he's bringing me into his office. This is the conversation we're going to have. Conversation instead went, please, Sheri, have a seat. I sat down. He looks at me and he says, Sheri, a physician who is not clinically capable is of no value to me. Yeah. Now, at that time, I was 42. I was born and raised on the south side of Chicago. I should have cussed that man out. I should have told him and his mama where they could go. But you all, I could not, because I was 42, and after everything that I had been through, out of the dedication of my life to this field, I now had no value. And so I went through a few weeks, about 4 months, daily physical therapy, wrapping, bandaging, all of that stuff to treat my lymphedema. After 16 weeks, I was relegated to wearing compression garments 24/7 as my only treatment option for my lymphedema. And yes, I figured if I gotta wear it, I might as well bling it out and look cute. Okay, I didn't get the name Diva MD for not trying to be cute. I'm not saying I'm always cute, but at least I try to be cute. And so now I'm left with this, but I still had to figure out what I was going to do with my life because I now can't be a practicing physician. And so I will honestly tell you that I went through a period of grieving. I realized that I needed to take a moment to grieve my diagnosis. I needed to take a moment to grieve the death of my mom. I needed to take a moment to grieve the loss of half of my right breast where the nipple now kind of crooks to the right a little bit. I had to grieve the loss of my hair, my marriage, and my career. But when I took that time to grieve properly through my right stages, I was then able to open up my ears to listen to what God had for me. And I was able to open up my eyes to see the vision that he had for my life. And God spoke to me and he said, I want you to live. And in my head, I thought, Isn't that what I'm doing? I've been living. I'm 42 years old. I've been living. But shortly, over the course of a couple of weeks, God revealed to me what live for me meant. Live for me means to love myself and others, to inspire those around me, to voice my dreams and ambitions, and finally to enjoy life. God told me to live today and every day and make that part of my purpose and what I help other individuals to do. See, people saw me as strong. That's great. It's great to see me out there and see me as strong, but you need to understand my weaknesses, to know that this strength is not something that I was just born with, that I'm just one of the lucky ones that happen to be strong and can get through this diagnosis. No, I'm a very weak individual. I'm a very ordinary individual, but in my weakness, God is made strong. And so by sharing my weaknesses, people can now see that there was a transition, a transformation that had to occur in my life to get me to where I'm at today. Now, even though I didn't cuss that boss out, I did have the fortunate opportunity of less than a year later of going up to the hospital where I was once previously the program medical director for the entire health system. Yes, they voluntarily discharged me while I was out on FMLA going through physical therapy. Now, how many of you all know I know that wasn't right? I am an expert in ADA, EEOC. My mama was a systemic investigator for EEOC. I know how this thing works. Yes, could I have sued? Absolutely, I could have. Could I have won? Absolutely, I could have. I had the inside scoop, but that was not where I was leading. I didn't have that push, that piece to go that way. So I stepped back and I didn't. But I had to figure out a way that my kids were going to eat. I had 2 kids that wanted to go to college. I had a mortgage. My mom was dying. My dad needed to be taken care of. What was I going to do? Well, I had the fortunate pleasure of being able to tell him when that organization contacted me and said, oh, our bad. Forgot you were director of the Disability Council. Well, we have some cases that we need to be reviewed, and so we need you. Oh, well, that's going to come at a hefty price, my love. As a contractor? Oh, my goodness. And so, yes, I gave them the opportunity of utilizing my services under my newly formed healthcare company now, right, to be their contracted director of disability. But I also had the pleasure of having lunch with him when I was on campus and was reviewing files, of letting him know, oh, and in addition to this, I am now the national spokesperson for the Susan G. Komen 3-Day, the world's largest breast cancer organization. Thanks to you, the doctor who had no value is now going across the country, educating tens of thousands of women and men on a regular basis, raising $90 million a year in 14 different cities, doing what I do, sharing my voice, my experience, my struggle, and my victory in ways that I could have never imagined. So I did that for 6 years. 2 years after that, I was their national ambassador for their health equity program. And then in the midst of that, became a certified speaking professional. That is the highest designation awarded by the National Speakers Association. Less than 600 people in the world carry this designation. So yeah, baby, my value may not be found in my do, but my value is found in whose I am. And I'm a child of God with a great plan for my life that I'm living out. And I can tell you this, I want each of you in this room, we've gained, an immense amount of knowledge between genetic testing, practical knowledge about taking someone with you, explaining the difference between the different types of reconstruction, when you should get tested. We have garnered a whole lot of information. Please do not leave this place and not share it with at least one person. Make it a point. Don't just share it when the opportunity arises. Create an opportunity. Get on the phone, call your sister, call your aunt, call your mother, tell your neighbor, hey, did you happen to know, blah, 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 blah. We spark crazy conversations about any and everything. Why in the world can't we create an opportunity to educate someone about something that could change their life or change and save another life. We're here because we want to save people's lives, ours included. So I'm Dr. Sheri, and I want you to remember that my prescription for life is to live, love yourself and others, inspire those around you, voice your dreams and ambitions, and enjoy life. Live today and every day. God bless you.